What's up, everybody? This is Strings and Sweaters. My name is Tim, and thank you so much for watching this video and clicking on it. I really value your time. If you haven't subscribed yet, hit the subscribe button below, hit the like button, and stick around. So we are going to be covering the Stanley Cup in each of its matchups, but I wanted to do a Stanley Cup prediction. But before we can do that, we have absolute buffoonery going on with Adidas right now in the NHL. And what is this buffoonery? You may have seen it, but it's in preparation for this amazing matchup between the Vegas Knights and the Florida Panthers. And what have they decided to do? Well, if you guys are new to hockey, you might not know this, but when the teams get into the Stanley Cup, they acquire on their jersey a Stanley Cup patch, and it looks kind of like this. This is last year's Stanley Cup patch. It's an Avalanche Stanley Cup Champions patch, but both teams, before they get this one, just wear a Stanley Cup patch to signify that they made it, and it goes on the jersey, usually right here. But this year, for some weird reason, it's right here. But then sometimes it's also back to where it should be. I'm very confused, but it looks like on the on-ice jerseys, the patch is on the left side, which is not really usual, and it's causing some problems. Now, why would they move it this year? What's the point? The reason is because the NHL is greedy, and they want to put ads on the jerseys, or they already have put ads on the jerseys. So the Vegas Knights jersey, it has an ad over here. So that means that this patch can no longer be put here because it would be on top of that precious ad. So what's more important? Legacy, looking like it's a respected, valued tournament. The Stanley Cup is this big thing, or is it a stupid ad for betting on sports? So, because there's an ad here, they've had to move this over here. Okay, fine. That's fine. We got space up here. We got two patches now. Fine. Here's the problem. What goes here for two players, actually three players, is a captain's patch or an assistant captain's patch. And that means what we have to have now is the Stanley Cup patch with the captain's patch right next to it, which just looks like the biggest cluster you could imagine. It is the most hideous thing Adidas has done to a jersey. This is just an absolute jersey fail. Really, it's really upsetting for a lot of people to see. And I don't understand why they would do this, because I was getting really excited. I was all in. I'm going to buy, Florida Panthers jersey. I'm going to buy a new Vegas Knights jersey so I can get that Stanley Cup patch on the jersey, which would be really cool to remember. But now I'm not, because I probably would have wanted to get a captain, like Matthew Tkachuk or Stone. I would want to get that jersey, and now the jersey's going to look like this? Like, what? This is just reckless behavior by the NHL for allowing it, and Adidas for even thinking of this abomination. Just trash. And I also noticed, I don't even think the Florida Panthers have an ad on this side, but because the Vegas Knights have one and have to move it over for, I guess, like, it all to be looking the same, they have to move the Florida Panthers patch on this side too. But they don't even have an ad. So now the Panthers also have this crap going on here where you have the patch and the captain's logo or crest on the same side, which just looks terrible. So it's just like, what are we doing? I mean, this is just embarrassing, and it really ruined my Stanley Cup jersey experience. I'm sure the players are going to bring it, and it's going to be amazing, but this is just sad. Like, I'm not buying a jersey now, so thanks, Adidas. Hopefully, looking forward to Fanatics. Are you going to do something better, hopefully, or is it going to be even worse? Or are we going to get even worse products? We'll see. But let me get off my soapbox, and let's talk about predictions for the Stanley Cup. Now, this is the Stanley Cup. It's the two best teams. I did predict the Vegas Knights, what did I say? I said the Oilers would get there, but Vegas Knights are basically my second team I would have picked for getting to the Stanley Cup. And the Panthers came out of nowhere. They had the wild card spot that they stole from the Penguins. Penguins getting absolutely robbed by the Blackhawks in one of the last games of the year, not winning it against a team that had playing for nothing, actually playing to lose to get Connor Bedard. They couldn't even beat them. Hopefully the new GM hiring the Penguins just made will help get us back on track, but I think we have bigger issues than just their GM. I think we have a lot of things to rebuild on. But let's talk about right now. Let's talk about the Stanley Cup matchup tonight, Vegas Knights versus the Florida Panthers. The Florida Panthers seem to be unstoppable right now. They're on fire. But what can put out a fire? Well, interesting enough, the Dallas Stars made a little comeback on the Vegas Knights, extending their series matchup, which meant that the Panthers had to wait around a little bit. Does that affect at all how they'll play? Are they going to be a little bit cold going into tonight's game, not having had played hockey for a longer period of time, having a little break? We'll see. They might start a little bit slow. It might take them to the third period. And I know the Vegas Knights offense is just hot right now. It's hot off from that last game of the Stars where they just made it absolutely clear that they were the better team and that they were not going to have the Stars make that comeback on them. And they're scoring goals. So I'm going to give this first game to the Vegas Knights. I think the Vegas Knights are going to just run up the shots, and they're going to have a pretty good lead. And the Panthers may come back, but I think it just won't be enough time. They'll probably start to get back into the swing of things in the third period, but they'll lose this first game. I also think the Panthers are going to come back full force. Bobrovsky has been absolutely insane. He's been the X factor. Put him on any team, and he probably would have gotten them very far in the playoffs. This dude is a lights-out goalie right now. And you have guys like Matthew Tkachuk. You got Barkov. I mean, the Panthers are going to come back with some force, and it's up to the Knights to not do what they did against the Dallas Stars and let them creep back in, but to shut out the Florida Panthers. So here's my prediction. I think that the Vegas Knights either win this series in 5 games or the Florida Panthers win. Okay? So the Vegas Knights, I'm giving it to them tonight. They will win this tonight's game. They need to either sweep or allow the Florida Panthers to win that last 4th game, and then coming back, the Vegas Knights shut them out and win it. Or if they let the Florida Panthers at all creep back into this like they let the Dallas Stars, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. The Florida Panthers have had the more difficult road to the Stanley Cup. They were never the favorites. They beat Boston. They beat the Maple Leafs. I mean, and they absolutely scrounged. And they absolutely needed to dig as deep as freaking possible to beat that Hurricanes team. Hurricanes got swept, but that was not a sweep. Like the coach said, that was a hard-fought battle. The Hurricanes made that super difficult for the Panthers. So the Panthers have been through a hell, and they know how to pursue, or they know how to like basically stay afloat when they are challenged with. I mean, if you watch some of those games with the Florida Panthers and the Hurricanes, they literally came down to the last seconds, and they were able to pull through because their captain, Matthew Tkachuk, is that guy. He is the MVP. He will hopefully win, the award for this season, although Bobrovsky definitely deserves it too. So what do you guys think? I'm going with the Florida Panthers if the Vegas Knights don't come in and shut things down in 5 games. But if the Vegas Knights are bringing their A game, they could win their first Stanley Cup, which would make history. That would be freaking awesome. And then I would probably be buying a Vegas Stanley Cup Champions jersey, because that's, you know, really it's amazing to see these expansion teams and how quickly they have, you know, been able to get to a Stanley Cup. Vegas in their first year, and then already getting back there in 3 years, and then Seattle Kraken making the playoffs, looking like a really good team in their second year. It's just insane. It's not like the old days anymore. So let me know what you think in the comments. Who do you have winning Stanley Cup? And what players do you think are going to be the big difference makers on each team? Let me know. All right, thanks guys so much for watching. This has been Strings and Sweaters. Definitely check out my other videos. We got some jersey stuff on the channel. We got reactions to, you know, new jerseys, reverse retros, comparisons between Fanatics, Adidas, fake jerseys, how to spot a fake jersey. Lots of good information. Definitely give me a like and subscribe. I'll see you guys later. Peace out.